picture line number 5 is the hinge. Again, we're going to use as our entrance into the hinge 1, 2, 3 of a Viennese cross. We will then dance our hinge, and as an exit, we'll recover to promenade position. So we'd now like to dance it for you to music. For the man's foot positions. Again, gentlemen, you have just completed the first 3 steps of a Viennese cross, so your right foot is free. You commence back on your right foot, back left, swiveling to a sideward position, right foot points to the side. I then rotate to the right, stepping side right, left foot brushes to right foot, and now forward left into promenade position. And now for your footwork, we have toe heel, point the right foot to the toe heel right foot, left foot brushes to right foot, forward left, toe heel. And now for your technique. Gentlemen, again, just like the other picture lines thus far, I want you to focus as you step back right and left. You're going to keep your center towards the lady as long as possible. Now, as we step back on our left foot, what is different about the hinge is that I'm going to use body rise, which simply means the body rise is a lengthening of the legs and a stretching of the body, but there is no foot rise. So if you'll notice, what is going to be different about this in terms of our body rise is that the other figures that we have danced thus far, we have stayed down into that left leg, producing any type of lunging action. In this position, we want the lady to whisk to be able to go into her hinge position. So what we're going to do is you go back on your right foot, back left. You're going to lengthen through the left leg, stretching the body through a diagonal left, placing her into that crossing behind action. And then I lower down through my left leg into my hinge. Then I simply rotate through my left leg and hip again, that leverage point being at 230. I'm going to transfer to my right foot, brushing, and now we come out to promenade position. So again, what we want to focus on is that the action is going to be a little bit different through the left leg because of the body rise. From here, I'm going to hold my shape as long as possible as I rotate the lady. And then, of course, I have body and head finishing it off with my head lining up with my spine. I'm now going to rotate through my left leg and hip, shaping my body to the right. That will guide her to her left foot. And now, of course, we recover to promenade position. Now we'd like to invite Heather back to go over the ladies' part.
Now the ladies' foot positions for the hinge. So, ladies, I'm going to step forward first of all on my left foot, take my right foot forward, swiveling, crossing left foot behind right foot points, then replacing the right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot brushes to left foot, right foot forward in promenade position. And now the footwork. We have heel on the left foot, heel, toe of the right foot, left foot crosses behind on the toe, left foot lowers, toe heel, right foot points without weight, right foot then moves forward, heel toe, toe of left foot, right foot brushes to left foot, toe heel of right foot. And now for the technique. Again, the same action. I'm going to keep the man in front of my body as long as possible. Allow the base area to turn much earlier than the upper body. So I'm going to step forward, forward again, and I'm going to swivel my feet. And if you notice, as I'm swiveling, the body position is still towards the man. As Victor then uses the technique to lower me down, from here, that allows now the right foot to slide out ahead of the standing leg, producing a line. And what I want you to make sure, ladies, is to try not to allow the leg line to open too far. One of the faults that can happen on this step is as we're going into this cross, and this can vary. This can be quite tight, quite a tight cross, and it can also get to here and still look very, very effective. One of the things like I just mentioned earlier, is to be very, very aware of the leg line. Ladies, we always want our feet to look articulate and our leg lines to look feminine, and to make sure that as you cross behind, you don't develop this gap between the legs, that as you dance the actual crossing action, you feel a connection between the thighs before the man lowers. And then as you notice, as Victor will lower me into my standing leg, when he comes back in a second, you can see that my leg will then shape out, and I'm pointing the outside edge of the foot. Don't shape on the inside edge of that foot. I then will move forward again, swiveling the base underneath the shoulders, and then move myself to promenade. And at this time, I'll invite Victor back again, and we'll discuss this in finer detail together.
Okay, now as we've discussed in some of the other picture lines, we've talked about the freeness of the arms, we've talked about the direction of the center going into the picture lines. Again, what we'd like to emphasize as well is the counterbalance of the shape. So we did this a little bit earlier, where Heather would place her right arm across my right shoulder. In all these picture lines, we want to try and keep the spacing of the heads consistent. So one of the things that we find upsets the balance of your picture lines just in general is where the lady can either move across the man's center, or possibly the man moves too far in terms of distance. So we like to emphasize that this is a great exercise. We'll do it at a different angle for you to keep our individual spacing, so that as we go through these positions and into the line itself, there's a good counterbalance of our upper body weights. Okay? Now we'll try this from a different angle so that the gentleman can see the action of the base, body, and head. Again, gentlemen, always remember your leverage is through your legs and hips. So when you're going to change any action, whether it's going in or out of these picture lines, think of legs and hips first, then body and head. Okay, so I'll try it from a different angle with Heather. So we've got our hinge, I change the hips, now body and head we match. I rotate my left leg and hip, collecting to the side right, and now we're into promenade position. So again, to enable me to use that as a lever through my left leg and hip, it must remain at that 230 position. When you open the left foot open too much to, say, a line of dance, you lose that leverage point for the lady to connect through her right leg and hip.
And ladies, about the head styling for the lady's position here. If you notice, my head is to the right as I commence, going into the hinge, and as I go forward and the feet swivel, I'm trying to actually swivel the feet without affecting the head to start with. So I swivel the feet, allow the base to turn, and then the head to develop its stretch and curve. So quite often when we think picture line, the first thing we tend to do as a couple is produce a picture before anything has happened from down below. Ladies, you are listening 100% to the timing the man is giving you, to the direction he is giving you, and to the shaping he is giving you from his base area. Please do not try and manufacture and produce this shape by yourself. It's very, very important the man delivers his way into the picture line first, and we listen to his hips to get our direction and everything else. So again, I'm going to listen to Victor's baseline. I'm going to dance my feet and then develop the upper body. And again, I'm listening to his baseline, develop my feet, and then my upper body.
Now, as Heather has just mentioned, the hip area for the man, in terms of how the lady is going to respond to that, what I'd like to also emphasize is, gentlemen, you're using this in terms of a rotary action and a sway action. You are not in any position trying to push the hips up to the lady so we feel as though we're jamming each other. That will tend to push the lady and her balance away from you. So please, when you use your hips in whatever line figure we're talking about, it is purely for directional purposes and, of course, balance and connection. We are not trying to push hips towards one another because that will greatly affect the couple's balance. Now, what I'd like to present to you at this time, we're going to dance the hinge again, only I'm going to change the rise going into it. So you can see it will be a little bit different. Instead of having our body rise where she'll rise up and cross behind like a whisking action, and then we go into our hinge, I'm going to stay down very much like a throwaway, and I will still make her go into a hinge action. So we've got back, and she steps back, and then out to promenade. So you can dance it either way. Again, one of the differences that you would have in your lead, gentlemen, would be this, is that in staying down through your left leg, your center would progress a little bit further forward than a throwaway. Because in a throwaway, she's going to be pointing her foot back. In this position, because we want to lead her into a hinge, my center would travel a little bit further forward, which would make her change weight onto her left foot. So you could, in terms of your staying down, going into the hinge, produce a different type of action than the actual body rise up. Okay? Now, in terms of your timing, we have already illustrated the timing that you could use in your waltz. Now, for, say, tango, we've done the Viennese cross. We have quick, quick, slow, and slow. Okay, you can see it's a much sharper action, again, focusing on base, body, and head, changing the characteristic so that the action when we arrive through our body and head become much sharper. If we dance slows and quicks in our foxtrot or quick step, we've got quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick. And that is our hinge.